The January transfer window is only a couple of days away, and Mikel Arteta has come out saying that Arsenal must be busy this transfer window. Manchester City are just a few days away from pinning down Anton Semenyo to a £65 million signing from Bournemouth. And I'm not going to lie, that is an unbelievable signing. Double digits for goal contributions this season, strengthening while the team right now at City is firing on all cylinders. Ryan Cherki looks like one of the best players in world football. Phil Foden is back amongst the goals. Erling Haaland is on unbelievable goal-scoring form this season. But in this video, I'm going to break down why I believe Arsenal must go out there and sign a wire player. Now, in the last 2 or 3 transfer windows, they've been linked to Nico Williams. They've been linked to Gordon from Newcastle. They've been linked to Rodrygo, Rafael. Every single winger in Europe, possibly you could imagine at some point, has had links to Arsenal. But if they cannot afford to sit there and watch Manchester City go out there and strengthen, they have to go and act. Whoever that may be, we'll have to see what happens in the coming weeks. Now, apologies if I do sound a little bit rough. I am coming down with the flu, but we're still here. We've got a lot of content coming out later. We're going to be covering the Aston Villa Arsenal game, possibly the Chelsea and Liverpool game. There's going to be videos on the second channel as well because Brennan Johnson is likely to join Crystal Palace. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you're new around here, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now, this quote came out yesterday. This is coming out from Connor, who said, could a January transfer be on the cards for Arsenal? Now, via Haters TV, Arteta said, the window is there. We are Arsenal, and we have to be looking at it. Now, what's really, really interesting is Fabrizio Romano has said in the last few days regarding Semenyo to City that it is getting close. Now, for me, that is one hell of a signing. I don't care what anyone says. That is a fantastic signing for City. City will talk again with Bournemouth to try to get Anton Semenyo deal wrapped up this week. Man City remain confident after verbal agreement with Semenyo despite calls from Liverpool last November and again last week. Now, it has come out on numerous occasions that Semenyo, his preferred location was Arsenal, but they aren't interested in signing him this upcoming window. However, now, in my opinion, they have to go out there and sign someone. If Man City's wide options are going to be Ryan Cherki, Phil Foden, Jeremy Doku, Semenyo potentially could leave, and of course, you know, they've got Erling Haaland up front. Sky Sports Premier League have now said that the final details of Semenyo's 65 million release clause are being sorted between the two clubs. So that's going to happen. Now, they can't sit there, Arsenal. They're in a very strong position in the Premier League. They're in a very strong position in the Champions League. They've got Kai Havertz coming back from injury. But their wide players, for me, at this moment in time, aren't as strong as Foden, Cherki, Doku, Semenyo, Oscar Bob. He's likely to join Borussia Dortmund, but they're not as strong as Man City's options. Now, we could talk about the midfield. I think Arsenal got a better midfield and a better defence right now. But what's really, really important is this upcoming January transfer window. And for me, Arsenal have to go out there and sign a top player. Man City are kind of doing one in, one out. Oscar Bob is likely to join Borussia Dortmund, according to this from Romano. Man City are in talks of Oscar Bob to join Borussia Dortmund. Bob can leave City if and when Semenyo joins the club. So it's essentially one in, one out. Now, for me, at this moment in time, Man City out of the two are playing the better football. Arsenal have got a huge, huge game tonight where they will be playing against Aston Villa, potentially without Declan Rice. There's a lot of stuff come out that he won't be playing this game. Now, this is a big game for a number of players. Kai Havertz probably back in the squad. Gabriel could start. Who knows? You could also see Victor Gyökeres start or Mikel Merino. But in terms of a front line right now, I personally believe that Man City's is the strongest in the league. And the numbers back that up on every single metric. They've scored 10 more goals than Arsenal. If Arsenal go out there and drop 60, 70 million pounds on a Rodrygo, 80, 90 million euro deal, or they go out there and sign a Rafael, that puts the momentum back in Arsenal's favour right now. For me, City have all the momentum. They've won 8 games in a row. They've won the last 5 league games. They've got easier fixtures to play in the coming weeks. Right now, they are on unbelievable form. It could all change, though, this window, because Man City could come the end of the window, have Semenyo in their ranks. Semenyo could leave. Oscar Bob could leave. But if Arsenal go out there and drop big, big money on a wire player, for me, it changes everything. And Arteta has said in that quote that they will be looking at players. Now, Declan Rice is expected to miss Arsenal's match against Aston Villa tonight. Rice picked up a knee injury during his win over Brighton on Saturday, but was able to play on and remain hopeful of playing tonight and to be fit. But unfortunately for Declan Rice, he isn't going to be available. Now, that's going to be a really, really interesting battle. Yuri Tillemans, John McGinn, and Onana probably up against Odegaard. I'd imagine Eze, and I would imagine Zubimendi, or Marino may play there, and Gyökeres may play up front. Who knows? But Rodrygo, for me, it makes the most sense. He is the guy that Arsenal have to go out there and sign, but I don't necessarily think it's realistic this window. He's on a huge salary at Real Madrid. It's unlikely right now that he leaves this upcoming transfer window. You've also got other players that have been linked. Gordon from Newcastle. I don't necessarily think he's good enough right now. He hasn't scored a goal in the last 30 games in open play, which leans me towards Rafael. Now, people are going to be saying, Leao's not going to go. He's not going to leave AC Milan. AC Milan right now are in a really good position in the league. They're, in a title race. He's played 10 games in Serie A this season, got 5 goals and 1 assist. What's really, really interesting is he's only got 2.5 years left on his contract. And I believe, as you can see over there, on the right-hand side, the most interested club is Arsenal. Now, 27% chance, who knows? That could happen, it might not happen. He, for me, makes the most sense. You look at that left-hand side, I think he's better than Trossard. I think he's better than Martinelli. His contract only got 2.5 years on it. His previous deal was signed 2.5 years ago. So he signed a 5-year deal. He's been at AC Milan since 2019. He's won league titles of AC Milan. He's won Coppa Italias of AC Milan. In terms of his wages, he is one that Arsenal, for me, should be looking at this window. He makes the most sense. He's a powerful runner. He's a goal scorer. But again, one question that needs to be asked is, in terms of a goal output, it's not the strongest. 16 GA in 34 last year, 18 GA in 34 the year before that. Got Champions League experience. But again, it's a gamble, because he's better than what they've currently got, but I don't necessarily think he actually raises the floor. But what it does do is it gives Arsenal stronger squad depth. Now, he's only enough, I say only. Look, it's an incredible amount of money, 120,000 euros a week. But in football terms, that's not that high. That's about, what, 110,000 pounds a week? Arsenal have probably got 12 players on a higher salary than that. He's one of the star players at Milan. He's 26. It's a good age and profile for Arteta. 6 GA in 10. Probably on his best goal-scoring season, or on track to be his best goal-scoring season. Normally, he doesn't really pick up a huge amount of injuries. But if they had, for instance, Leao, Havertz, Gyökeres, Trossard, Martinelli, I think if Leao comes in for me, it's likelihood that a Gabriel Jesus or someone like that would leave in the upcoming summer transfer window. But what's going to be really, really interesting is the fact that because Semenyo has agreed personal terms with Manchester City, and because the fact the deal is approaching, the finish line, what are Arsenal going to do? They're looking at a lot of young talents. This coming out from Sky Sports that as Arsenal continue their search for young talent across Europe amid ongoing injury concerns, Elche's Rodrygo Mendoza has emerged as an option, but again, young player, 17.5 million pounds, looks I don't know, a huge amount about him, but he's obviously going to be a good talent if Arsenal are interested. But is that going to raise the level? The area of the pitch they need the most amount of strength from right now is striker or left wing. Leao and Rodrygo can play both those roles. So it's going to be interesting. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure to subscribe button. Who do you think Arsenal will sign? And I'll see you next time. I'm out.